Hello and welcome. Today we have another question. Leetcode 921 minimum add to make parentheses valid. It's been asked by Facebook, Google, and Apple. Very good companies. Um, okay, so without much further, let me read the question, right? So, a parentheses string is valid if and only if it's the empty string, right? Okay, so if it's empty, if it can be written as A concatenated A concatenated with B, where A and B are valid strings, or it can be written as parentheses A parentheses, okay, where A is a valid string. Cool. You are given a parentheses string. In one move, you can insert a parentheses at any position, right? For example, opening brace, this S, right? Opening brace, closing brace. Basically, it has like three closing braces and one opening brace. Right? You can insert two opening braces at the beginning, and then it will balance out, right? If I'm being wrong, I'm saying you can insert an opening parentheses to be this or closing parentheses to be that. So basically, we'll go through that, right? But like to have balance, we would have needed two opening braces, for example. Return the minimum number of moves required to make S valid. So basically, we've been given a string S, right? We don't have to worry about the A's and the B's. And the question does not really make sense, except for like saying the base case is that when we have an empty string, it's valid. Okay, cool. Now we have been given strings with parentheses, right? So this is the opening brace and this is the closing brace, basically, right? We cannot see that. And the question is basically asking us like how many more braces do we need on the minimum to make the string valid. And I think the question is mainly what really makes a parentheses or a set of parentheses valid. And I believe best to show it, with this, with a snapping tool and a marker or a drawing board. So basically, if something is um, valid, right, is we have a valid parenthesis, then basically we have a few conditions to meet, right? We need the number of opening braces, right, to be equal to the number of closing braces. And also we need the occurrence to be that we have a set of opening braces with corresponding closing braces to them, right? So if, for example, we had a closing brace first and then an opening brace and a closing brace, right? This is not valid because what we have an opening brace, sorry, we have a closing brace here, but a closing brace should be preceded with an opening brace, right? And it wasn't preceded with the opening brace in this case. But you see, this for this part, it would be valid, right? Because we have an opening brace which is followed by a closing brace, right? So we need opening braces to, be followed by closing braces, and closing braces should be well preceded by opening braces, and then they should have the same number, right? So if you look at this example, for example, right, what we need then is that what we need one opening brace. And how do we know we need one opening brace? Because we have this last closing brace, right, with no opposite opening brace. So what we want to do in solving this problem is to go through our string S, right? And whenever we see an opening brace, we keep it. Let's call it in a variable left. So keep it in left, right? We've seen the first one, keep it in left. The second one, right now is left, is left greater than zero. If it is, right, then we can decrement left and say, hey, we have seen a closing brace. So left one element on the left has now found its corresponding pair, right, as a closing brace. So right, we would decrease left by what, one, right? So for the second element, sorry, let me basically let me have it here. So we have this opening brace, closing brace, and here, right? For this, we increase left by what, one, right? Left by one, but we've seen a counteracting one, so we decrease what our left by zero. But in case there was no counteracting one here, maybe we didn't initially have left. What we want to do is then increase what a different variable we'll call what, right. So right will be increased if there's no corresponding um, left variable to to counteract, right? So that's the perfect case for this one. When we have our left is set to zero, right? But we have seen a new closing brace, right? Which is more what we call right. and we'll say, okay, now we don't have any left, so then I'll increase my right. So I increase my right by one, right? And then how many new nodes will I have to add, right? So the new nodes will be what the combination of what are left and right. Basically, left plus right will be the number of nodes that we need to add. So for this example, right, you see we have three opening braces, right? So initially we hit left, right, left increases from one, right, from this to two to three, right? So left becomes three. So in the end, it shows us that what if left is three and right is zero, right? Left plus right is three. So it means we need three right parentheses to make this valid, right? Or three closing braces to make this valid. So basically, that's the whole gist of it, the concept. I hope this was very helpful. So without further ado, let's get into the coding, right? So what I want to do is to say that basically we want to keep um, a left, right, and then a right, and basically left keeps the opening braces with no corresponding closing brace, and right does the same thing on the other side, right? So and then we keep index, right, variable index also starting from zero, and then I want to use a car array. So I'll say that car array is equal to s dot char array basically, right? And then I'll have my while loop. You can also probably use a for loop. So while index is less than what array dot length, right? What we want to do is to first get our character, right? So what's the character we're looking at is r at index, right? And now if c is equal to what the opening brace, what we want to do is what increase left. That's what we're going to do. Now this is the interesting part, right? Else, right? Else, because we are only else, um, because we're only dealing with braces, right? The else is guaranteed to be a closing brace. So if else is hit, right, then we ask ourselves, do we have any left, you know, opening braces with no corresponding closing brace? I would say left is greater than zero. If so, right, then we decrease left by one, right? Because then we have found either one to just oppose it. Or if that doesn't happen, then what we want to do is increase right, right? And then basically because of our loop, we want to index, we want to keep increasing our index, and then basically we return what left plus right, because that's the number of parentheses you want to add, right? Let's just suppose it. So passes the first two test cases, passes for everything. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Guess the runtime O of n, right? Because we have to touch every single element in our string. So say string s has a length of n, right? That will be the runtime basically. So very easy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.